Hey everyone, I'm Tracy Morrow, and today I'm going to show you how to make these really cool, really chic, really fun decor coasters. They're made from stone tiles. I've got them at a local home improvement center, and we're going to use a technique called image transfer and this fabulous new product from Decor. This is a Decor Americana Decor image transfer medium. This stuff is fantastic. It is formulated to work on everything from furniture to general craft, so you're really going to love it for this project. It's easy to use, it's water-based, it doesn't have a horrendous odor. It's a really great product to work with. So we're going to work with the Americana Decor. We're going to need a good quality 1-inch, 3/4-inch flat brush to apply it with. And we're going to need some stone tiles, just like these. These are nice and smooth. These are available, as I said, from Home Improvement Center. Most of the home improvement centers now require you to special order if you're going to be ordering a quantity of these. They don't ordinarily have them in stock in the store. However, having said that, you can find these in store quite frequently. And these are those batches of tiles where they have, you know, a larger one and then smaller ones. And these are all attached on the back side with a fusible web of sorts. Interesting thing is you can cut these apart. So in one of these sheets is 4-inch tiles, plus a bunch of the smaller ones, which you can use for other things. So you just simply cut this apart and then peel that webbing off, and it actually comes off quite easily. So then you'll have 4 individual tiles, and most of the time these larger web type tiles are available quite reasonably priced, and I think in this case they were about $11 for this big block of tiles at our local Home Depot. So what you need is that great quality stone tile. You're also going to need some photocopies or some laser print images. There is a pattern associated with this video, so you'll be able to download the PDF and it will have all of these images in it. So the cool part, you're going to have these images cut out. Don't be too meticulous, but get close to the images you possibly can. The goal is to create these. This is a set of coasters with an image transfer on the front. On the back, we've simply adhered these little silicone things. We made 4 of them so that they all stack up very nicely. And they wear well. The first set that I ever made is still in use almost 10 years later. So these are a really great little project. They make wonderful gifts. And they're very easy to make and affordable to make. If you're buying a case of these tiles, you can usually get 36 or so for about $25, $25 to $30. So you can make a lot of coaster sets just from one box of tiles. So let's get started and let me show you how to do this. Easy peasy. Make sure that your tile is clean. That is important, that it's clean. There's no dust or anything on it. So I just take a piece of damp shop towel and wipe it down so that I get all the dust off. Then you're going to open your medium. Now this stuff kind of looks like cold cream, like a thin cold cream. It dries perfectly clear. Although it's white in the jar, it's going to dry perfectly clear. So now that I've wiped down my tile, I'm going to dry it so that I have a nice dry surface. And we're going to apply a nice generous coat of the image transfer medium over the surface. Now I say generous, that doesn't mean gobs of it. You want it covered, just like that. Easy peasy. So once that's done, you're going to take your image and you're going to lay it face down into that wet medium. And then with the tip of your finger, press it into place. Now remember, it's wet going, dry paper going into a wet medium, so you'll probably see a little buckling. But we have a solution to that. So now you're going to take, this is just a piece of shop towel, and it's been moistened in water. And I'm going to wipe away the excess, but I'm working from the center of the paper. And I'm changing the cloth around to remove all of that excess medium from the tile. I do this because I don't want a big line around my image. It's going to give you a nice clean thing. The other thing is that by wiping it away, you prevent any of that excess medium from getting on the back of the paper. If you get this medium on the back of the paper, you're never going to be able to get it off. So I wipe away any excess. In that process, it moistens the paper. And then what that does is when the paper is moist, it lays nice and flat. It stretches out, and so you don't get the ripples and the bubbles and whatnot in the surface. And so when it dries nice and tight to the surface, like this. So no ripples, no folds, no nothing in it. So once you've gotten to this stage, you make sure that it is firmly pressed into place. If you have a brayer, go ahead and use it. You can use a paint bottle just by rolling it like this to ensure that it's well seated. That will work too. So once you have it in this way, you're going to set it aside and you're going to allow it to dry thoroughly. Now the jar says anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. I've found that if I put it in a good spot with great ventilation, it's dry in about an hour. You can pick it up and work with it. However, the longer it sits, the better. So if you're doing a bunch of these, set them aside, let them dry overnight, and then you can come back and do the next step the following day. Okay, so I set that one aside to dry. Put my brush into some water to get that medium out, and I'm going to close up my jar nice and tight so that it stays perfect for the next time. DecoArt Image Transfer Medium. Awesome stuff. So our next step. Here I have a tile that is well dry. This one has been sitting down here overnight. And I'm going to take that, remember our wet shop towel? I'm going to take my wet shop towel, and it is quite wet. It's not dripping, but it's quite wet. And I'm going to moisten the back of this paper. And the first thing that happens as soon as that moisture hits, you can see that image right through. So if you get that paper nice and moist, and as you scrub, you'll notice that that paper starts to ball up and roll off. You see these little bits. Let's zoom in a little bit here so you can get a better look. Here we go. So you can see all these little bits of paper are starting to roll off. So if you take your fingers, more and more of that paper will roll off. And you just keep working gently. You are washing the baby's face, not scrubbing the kitchen floor. So, nice, gentle, circular fashion. And you will notice that look at those little white paper bits are just rolling off very easily. Now remember, you have just remoistened everything that you had let dry overnight. So if you're a little too aggressive with this, you could potentially literally remoisten the adhesive, that medium, and then pull the image right off the surface. So take your time and work carefully. So just like that, you can see that that image is starting to clarify very nicely. And look how clean that image is. So you just continue in that fashion. If you find that the image starts to pull off, let me show you an example. If you get a little too aggressive as you're working and you remoisten it, you'll see spots like this where the adhesion or that medium underneath has literally come away from the surface. And it's usually because the medium is either not dry enough or you've remoistened it to the point where it just releases. So at some point as you're working, stop and let things dry a little bit, like I've done here. So you can remoisten this and then start working again. And this is where that fingertip comes in very handy, because you can tell where the paper is. Even though you may not be able to see it, you can feel it. It sort of feels a little rough. And you'll know when you've got all the paper off too, because you won't be able to tell where the stone and the paper begin, which is kind of cool. So you just work until you have the bulk of the paper removed from your surface. And once it looks like almost everything is gone, and you're not quite sure. It feels like it's smooth, but you're not absolutely sure. Just set it aside and let it dry for a few minutes. And what you will see is something like this. It's sort of hazy. It kind of looks a little frosted, in spots. And when it's dry, it's hard to tell that it's paper, but you'll be able to see it. It's sort of a hazy, foggy, fuzzy look. So you just simply re-moisten it like that with that shop towel or baby's face cloth, something like that. Re-moisten it and then use your fingertips again to remove the excess paper. Now, one of the things that frustrates people with doing image transfer is that you see the line sometimes as you're working that where that paper ended. And there's a really cool way to eliminate that. And I'm going to show you in just a second. Part of the reason that it shows up the way it does is quite simply, this one's actually quite good. There is a faint line there, but it's not too bad. Let me put it up here. Maybe you can see it. It's very faint, but you can see that where that paper ended right there. So we're going to give this a seal. And because we used image transfer to put the image down in the first place, we can seal with it. So I'm going to take a good quality, nice soft brush and a little of that image transfer medium, and I'm going to seal the image in. This does two things. One, it protects the image. This stuff dries very, very hard, so essentially it's like a good quality matte varnish. It's going to give you a nice uniform finish, and it'll give you that great protection that you need. So that is all there is to that. So once these are completely dry, you've got a coat of that matte medium on there to protect the image. Then you just flip them over and then use these little adhesive silicone pads or the little felt pads on the back. And they're wonderful. They're great for hot or cold. You can put glasses on them, and they're very easy to keep clean. So if any spills and whatnot, just a damp cloth will take care of anything that happens to get onto them. So that is it. How easy is that to create a really fun, classy gift with image transfer and Decor Americana Decor image transfer medium? I'm Tracy Morrow. Thanks for joining me. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. You can reach me out via my website at tracymoreuxdesign.net. If you are looking for Decor Americana image transfer medium or any of the Dynasty brushes, check out MaureenBaker.com. She is Decor and Dynasty brush distributor. Thank you for joining me. Have a great day.